Hi, and welcome to this edition of Maverick Sports. The fall academic semester has come to an end as we close in on the Christmas break. The UNO sports scene continues, however. Here's what we have for you today. The swimming and diving team had an undefeated December. The hockey team not only wins, but the players keep piling up awards. We also have women's and men's basketball, as well as lots of wrestling, with reports from Adam Culliff and Felicia Mezidou. Adam shows us a side of senior heavyweight Tony Lewis you might not know about. Felicia focuses on redshirt freshman Eastside Dominguez. Plus, Maverick wrestling coach Mike Denny will join us live in the studio. As usual, we'll take a look at what's coming up for the various Maverick teams. The Maverick swim team had a great December, winning the Mutual of Omaha invite as well as besting South Dakota in a dual meet. In winning their fourth straight Mutual of Omaha title, the Mavericks smashed the competition, beating second-place University of Colorado Boulder by more than 1,100 points. Sophomore Laura Kemp won the 200 and 400 individual medleys, plus the 200 breaststroke, while Kate Hopkins, Christy Geminer, Jessica Lefebvre, and Lindsey Klein each won 2 individual titles. Jessica Connick and Michelle Benet swept the 1 and 3 meter diving competitions. Laura Kemp led the Maverick parade against South Dakota, winning 3 events. Lindsey Klein and Kate Hopkins each won 2 individual events, and UNO took first in the 200 medley relay and the 400 freestyle relay. Moving to the ice, this 19th ranked Maverick hockey team works on a pair of road wins as the end of the month nears. Here, we see the Mavs in action at Ohio State. Defenseman Eddie Del Grasso picked up his 3rd CCHA Defenseman of the Week award for his efforts last week. Del Grasso leads all conference defensemen in scoring. He picked up 2 goals against Lake Superior State, running his point total to 18 on the season. Goalie Jared Kaufman is the conference goalie of the week. Kaufman had a first star night in the second game at Lake Superior State, making 47 saves, 20 in the first period. It was his 7th win of the year. This month opened with a pair of ties against Alaska at the Quest Center. It took a shootout before the puck went into the net. Rich Purslow and Alex Hudson got the shootout goals for the Mavs. The following weekend, UNO hit the road and swept Lake Superior State. Thomas Klempa's power goal at 16:49 of the second period proved to be the game winner on Friday. Jeremy DuPont stopped 24 shots for his 4th win. The next night, Eddie Del Grasso's goal midway through the final period broke a 1-1 tie, pushing UNO to the win, and Jared Kaufman had his goalie of the week performance with those 47 saves. Here's a look at the top 5 teams in the CCHA standings. They are all ranked in the top 20. Miami and Notre Dame are numbers 3 and 4 respectively. Alaska is 12th with Michigan 13th. The Mavericks are ranked 19th with an overall record of 11-4-3. On to basketball. Despite a rough start for the UNO women's team, they snapped a 3-game losing streak. The Mavs ripping York, holding the visitors to 17 first-half points and just 15 in the second half. Amanda Broadsack was high scorer with 20 points in just 25 minutes played. She and Alyssa Green had a team-high 8 rebounds. UNO picked up its first MIAA win with a 24-point besting of Northwest Missouri. 4 Mavericks scored in double figures, led by Latoya Wright, 17 points. Jill Wolf led all players with a career-high 12 rebounds. A look at the conference standings shows that the top 4 teams are unbeaten in league play. The Mavs are sitting 7th after the win over Northwest Missouri. On the men's side, it's been a terrific start. They've sandwiched a 4-game win streak and a 3-game win streak around 1 loss. They've also grabbed some national attention. After the first 3 wins, Michael Jenkins was named the Division II Player of the Month. During that time, the Bellevue West product averaged 18 points per game while hitting 67% of his shots from the floor and completing 86% of his free throws. Finishing November unbeaten, head coach Darren Hansen was named Coach of the Month by the magazine Division II Bulletin. Here's what the men's team has been doing. You can look at all those W's. The only loss is UNO's MIAA opener at Washburn, and even that is in question. A foul call against the Mavs at the buzzer of a tie game gave the Ichabods 2 shots. UNO has reeled off 3 straight wins since then. Michael Jenkins led 3 Mavs in double figures with 27 points at Fort Hays State. 4 players scored in double figures against York, with Dion Curry tops at 19 points. Mitch Albers canned 25 points against Northwest Missouri, including 6 3-pointers. A look at the conference standings finds UNO in the top 5. Again, their only loss is to unbeaten Washburn. The Mavericks are 7-1 overall. Now, when you've become as successful as the Maverick wrestling program is, you never get a break. You always get the opponent's best effort. UNO is atop the latest coaches poll that came out earlier this month. Several Mavs are nationally ranked. Ross Taplin is number 1 at 174. 2 Mavs are ranked second. Austin Bam at 184 and Cody Garcia at 133. Aaron Denson is listed third at 165. 2 more Mavs are fifth in their respective weight classes. Isai Dominguez at 149 and Tony Lewis at 285. The Mavs tasted success in the 2 Opens in which they competed in December. At the Northern Iowa Open, Ryan Pankow won all 5 of his matches and landing the top spot at 165. Teammate Ross Taplin won his 4 matches to grab the 174 title. They were 2 of 6 Mavs who placed. Pankow defeated Iowa State's Andrew Sorensen in the championship match, while Taplin outpointed Jake Kerr of Iowa to win the title. At the recently held Kearney Open, Cody Garcia led 3 Mavs who won titles. Garcia won all 4 matches at 133 and was named Most Outstanding Wrestler. Todd Manili was 5-0 at 157, and Elijah Madison was unbeaten in 4 matches, outpointing teammate Tony Lewis for the 285 title. There's a lot more ahead, so stay right here for more Maverick Sports.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on the Knowledge Network.
To fans of the Maverick wrestlers, it's no surprise to see the Mat Men doing so well. This year, one redshirt freshman finds himself ranked as one of the best in the nation and eager to make his team proud. Reporter Felicia Mezadou tells us more about him.
It's difficult for freshman athletes to adjust to the changes in their new environment. They face the challenges of being redshirted, new team members, and greater training expectations. But for this freshman, athletic progression appears to have no limitations, especially when you're a part of a team that is ranked top in the nation. Meet Isai Dominguez, a freshman that is ranked 5th in the nation in his weight category and already recognized for being outstanding wrestler of 2008. Isai really enjoys being a member of the Mavericks wrestling team.
It was really good. Just know that I have some of the best workout partners, around and help push me as well and help push them. So just a good experience to know that I'm part of something that's it's great so far.
Isai attributes a lot of the team's success to the close relationships that the wrestling team has formed, often referring to one another as brothers.
We're in here every day, working out, beating each other up, it's a close-knit family, we go through the same things, working out hard every day, and just wrestling tough, spend the weekends together, bus rides, chilling in a hotel.
A season of being redshirted allowed Isai time to gain strength and experience athletic growth.
Get ready for the actual being possibly on varsity and stuff like that, so definitely a redshirt season helped out a lot, get me acquainted with the college style of wrestling a little bit more wrestling men instead of boys.
But now that Isai is ranked 5th in the nation, he feels the pressure to be an even greater contributor.
Definitely, I think you have to, maybe twice, 3 times as hard, just keep that #1 spot. If you're at the top, people are always going to try to bring you down because a lot of people are always shooting for the underdog. So,
despite the team's top ranking, Isai knows it's still a necessity to work and train hard.
You should be working hard every day, so That's the plan, you know, to be the best. So why not work out like you are the best, even if you aren't considered the best? So I don't think it should be too much difference other than, you know, that number next to your name.
According to Eastside, the most difficult challenge about being ranked top in the nation is the determination to keep it. But with the team's positive and brotherly contributions, I'm sure it will not be hard to maintain. Reporting from Maverick Sports, I'm Felicia Messadue.
As we continue to focus on the Maverick wrestlers, it's not surprising to see the strong competitive spirit they all possess, and how they feed that drive to compete can be pretty unique. Reporter Adam Culliff tells us about a Maverick wrestler who is also an outstanding athlete in another less familiar sport.
For Tony Lewis, wrestling has always been a big part of his life. But since coming to UNO, he found a new passion, rugby.
It started that 3 years ago. I was working out with the football team here, and I just didn't have enough time to do wrestling school and football at the same time, so I stopped the football part, and one of the weights coaches asked me if I would like to come try out and play rugby with his team, and I tried out and had a blast, so kind of got into it through that.
And Tony finds time to play both sports.
Rugby and wrestling kind of overlap a little bit, but once rugby season's over, I don't have anything else to do with it until it starts back up. I'll go to a couple practices, but I don't get involved. Just I don't want to get hurt for wrestling on the rugby field, and so kind of leave it alone during the winter months.
And there are things that Tony takes from the wrestling mat and uses them on the rugby field.
Body positioning and knowing where your weight is, you know, from your center and everything. It just there's a lot of similarities, and rugby coaches like people that have had a wrestling background just because of the body awareness most of all.
Tony uses both sports to help complement each other.
I use one sport to train for the other sport in the different seasons. When I'm in the off season of wrestling, I'm playing rugby, and vice versa.
So which sport does Tony like more?
You know, I can't really say that I like one more than the other. It just, at the time, of course, I like the sport that I'm in a little bit more than the other one, but at the same time, you know, when I'm off the wrestling mat, I want to be back on it, and when I'm off the rugby field, I want to get back out there.
And according to Tony, there's one thing you have to be a rugby player.
Be a little bit crazy, I guess. You know, you're hitting people without pads.
For Maverick Sports, I'm Adam Culliff.
Well, when we come back, wrestling coach Mike Denny joins us live in the studio. You're watching Maverick Sports.
Take a look at UNO and you'll find a school that can pretty much be everything to everyone. We have that big city feel and a sense of community that creates a close, friendly campus. Our professors and resources contribute to our great reputation in the city and the region. So whether you're just starting out, transferring, earning a degree online, or choosing a new path in life, you'll be able to find what you want.
You know, it's always great, whether it's talking personally or professionally, to our guest in the studio today, and I'm talking about head wrestling coach Mike Denny. I remember Mike's very first day on campus, and I didn't know much about the guy when I first got to Nebraska, and it didn't take me long to find out a lot about him. Coach, good to see you. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas to you, Tori.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure and an honor.
You know, you say that to me every time you see me, and I always say the same thing. Do I owe you money? But in all seriousness, I know you were in the studio when we were going through the first part of the show, and when we started talking about wrestling, I said, when you get as good as you guys are, you don't get a break. But knowing you as I do, that's fine, because you only get better by matching up against the best. And man, it's been a busy preseason with all these opens. Started with Daktronics, you got the Kaufman brand, went to Northern Iowa. But as we talked about before the show, this is really good for the kids.
Well, we kind of have a saying, steel sharpens steel. So what we tried to do in the first, half, 2/3 of the season is get our guys against the best that we can get them against, whether it be Division I, Division II, Division III, NEIA, junior college. We're going to try to match them up against the best wrestlers that we can get them against in the first 2/3 of the season. So that's kind of our philosophy, and sometimes along with that you kind of get nicked up a little bit, which we are now. We're starting to get healthy again, but you get some injuries with that. But it's worked for us, and we're going to continue to do it. And we're going to give them a little bit of a break now, and then we'll head into what we call our final third of the season, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, the one thing that stuck out for me, obviously, because I've learned so much about collegiate wrestling, is we had two guys win their championships by beating someone from Iowa State and someone from Iowa. You just don't get up on Monday and do that kind of thing.
Well, and we're used to, our guys are used to doing that. So, a good wrestler is a good wrestler no matter what division they're in. Of course, I think in the Division I level, they're just going to have more, especially schools like Iowa and Iowa State who are ranked number 1 and number 2 in Division I. So, but it's great opportunity for our guys to go against the best. This open tournament concept is, we feel, a great concept because you can go against the best no matter what division, and we've been able to do that, and we'll continue to do it.
Well, one thing I've always wanted to ask you, Mike, now that we're going into 2009 in a couple weeks, you hear so much about technology, strategy, training, how it's changed all these other sports. To me, wrestling probably is the last remaining pure sport on the planet, but yet I'd like to think over the years it's also changed as well. Has it? And if it has, how?
Well, I think the biggest change is that your athletes have so many more opportunities from a younger age on, and able to go against great competition, not only all over the nation but all over the world. Some of the top athletes get opportunities to wrestle all over, and from a young age. So they've been exposed to a lot. They've been exposed to the best. And so and a lot of them have taken advantage of those opportunities. I think, there's certainly I think the athletes are just stronger. They seem to be more prepared, and of course, I guess it's all relative, with all the other sports. But the training now that we have, the different types of training, the strength training and the core work that you do, and we're kind of trying to stay on the cutting edge of it, and of course there's some new stuff out, and we're trying to do that just like all the other sports. But wrestling, it still comes down to that one-on-one. It's really a very challenging sport mentally and physically, because they're only going to raise one hand, right? And it's out in front of everybody, and it's a one-on-one competition. So, in a physical sense, so that is. That is unique, something I really enjoy, and I think it's a great vehicle for teaching and building because it demands so much. So I've really enjoyed that part of it, and really still love the sport, and love working with the young men they're involved in it.
So let's go back to the team itself and the guys. Is the team where you want it to be at this point in the season?
Well, honestly, the first part of the season, we were trying to just tighten up. We had a lot of injuries, so a lot of our top guys were not able to compete, and we really weren't able to show our full team power. We have a really good team. We feel like we've got one of the best teams that we've ever been able to put into competition, but we weren't really able to demonstrate that because we had so many injuries, and so a lot of our top guys were out of the lineup. But we still. We just felt like we weren't where we needed to be. We wrestled at the Nebraska Kearney Open, and we really felt like we kind of realized our potential a lot more in that. So we felt, as coaches, a lot more pleased about where we were than we were before that. And so going into the second semester here, I think we're closer to where, and I think you're always, as a coach, you're trying to realize the full potential of your athletes, every athlete. So I think we're closer to that, but that's an ongoing process, and of course we have to continually, I think, demonstrate that. So we're looking at this first tournament coming up January 3rd, and we need to really start putting an edge on and getting geared up for the the last third of the season, which is kind of the big part of the regional tournament, the dual meets, the regional tournament, the national tournament.
Well, one thing again that I noticed when I was going through all the stats to get ready for the show, I noticed that you have, I won't name any names, but I have one guy ranked 5th, and in an open he gets beat by a teammate. I'm telling you, you guys, in my travels over the past year, in July, people are saying, "Oh, the Mavericks, man, they're just stacked." You've heard it for years. It's not that simple. We know that, but I mean, I think that whole thing is just a testament to how you and Ronnie and everybody have set this whole thing up and kept the guys focused.
Well, I really worked hard on establishing team depth. I think my big piece is the recruiting and the development. Of course, then you got to talk about marketing and fundraising and stuff like that. But my first piece is really getting the pieces in here, and then you got to develop those pieces. But I really have worked hard, and we've really worked hard on developing some depth. I think that's important. The philosophy of steel sharpens steel, whether it be in competition, it's also true in your practice room, your training sessions. If you can have great partners to work with, that are going to push each other, and then you've got something. And that all just kind of works together. So that has been our philosophy, and we're constantly working on that, developing and trying to get team depth.
Now, I know that aside from the great wrestlers and the programs you have, the wrestling team is really involved in community, and I know you sponsor a lot of stuff for the younger wrestlers in the area, and you've got a tournament coming up. You always have opened the field house. You get mats from, I remember the days when you'd see mats from all over the place with all these school logos on them and everything, and you guys are just out there working. You talk about building the sport, you talk about building depth for the team, but you like to build the sport.
Well, I think that's I think we're called to do that. We need to do that. That's part of our responsibility, is to constantly be marketing not only our program, but wrestling in the community to all levels. The kids level, the high school level, the college level, and even the levels after that. In our tournament that we have in June, we actually had 2 60-year-old men wrestle each other.
That's awesome.
So it was. We thought that was great. The pace wasn't exactly very intense, but there was. But the crowd was thrilled with it. I mean, it was and so I think that's something we want to be, a positive force in wrestling. Our program to be a positive force at all levels, and the way to do that is provide competition at all levels.
Okay, we got less than a minute left, and since it's that time of year, and I've known you as long as I have, one Christmas wish, what would it be?
Well,
the Lamborghini. Yeah, no,
we just spent some time. Our team traditionally we go out. We visit every hospital in in the city of Omaha and Council Bluffs, and we visited over 300 patients. So this was just yesterday, the day before, and it really puts things in perspective when you see the young kids like at Children's, over at the Med Center, they're waiting for organ transplants or have just gotten one, and you just feel for those families and those young people, and I think that's my heart kind of just goes out to those people and wish them the best, and so.
Well, we wish you the best, and thanks for joining us again. Merry Christmas.
Again, it's a pleasure and an honor always to work with you.
We'll see you in January. We're doing 2 matches here on UNO TV. Head wrestling coach Mike Denny. Before we go, I want to say check out the OMAV's website. That way you can keep up to date with all the Maverick sports. There's still more to come, so stay with us. You're watching Maverick Sports.
Fans, keep up with the scores and activities of all your favorite Mavericks. Go to omavs.com to check the Mavs scoreboard and get the latest news about all the Maverick teams. Get live stats from the games you just can't make and read about all the action when the game is done. Check out the events calendar, sign up for text messages, or download a Maverick podcast. You can even order the coolest Maverick merchandise. You'll find it all at omavs.com. Go Mavs!
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Here's what's on the upcoming schedule. The Maverick swimmers have over a month off as the Huskers come to the Hyper Building Pool for a duel on January 30th, and then UNO hits the road on January 31st for a duel at South Dakota. Meanwhile, the hockey team is very busy, ending this year and beginning next year on the road. They come home for a weekend series against Northern Michigan in Alaska. Women's basketball spends the end of 2008, start of 2009 on the road, then it's home, away, and home again. Meanwhile, the men's hoop squad does the same thing, being on the road to end the year, and they start next year. And then it's home, away, and home for them as well. For the wrestlers, the schedule explodes in January. Make note of the matches on the 22nd and 31st. Join Pat Kelly III and yours truly. We'll bring you all the action from the Fieldhouse right here on UNO TV. Meanwhile, the women's indoor track season hits the road in 2009. They'll travel to Lincoln, Fayetteville, Arkansas, and Manhattan, Kansas. Then it's back to Lincoln. All right, you can catch this show again Monday, December 22nd at 9:30 in the morning, Tuesday the 23rd at noon, Monday, January 5th at 9:30 in the morning, and then Tuesday, January 6th at noon, and Wednesday, January 7th at 6 p.m. Maverick Sports is taking a hiatus, but stay tuned for our return. I want to say thanks to everyone for their support, kind words, and encouragement. I give special thanks to everyone involved in making this show possible, especially the production crew. Now, those are the people you're going to see their names, running camera, directing, graphics, and all that stuff. Without those folks, this show wouldn't happen. Those aren't easy jobs. I really appreciate what they're doing. So from everybody to all of you, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. Until next time, as usual, hang high at Crimson and Black.